Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down to the Whiskey Nook and another Sunday with a couple of samples. We're going to take a look at some peated samples, staying at least loosely in the peated genre. Sadly, these are not budget peat blends, but we can still see what the whiskey tells us and go from there. So I'm going to look first at the Lost Blend from Compass Box. This was sent to me from Renee at Sourleg. If you guys haven't checked out Sourleg YouTube channel, please do. This one, I do know a lot about because Compass Box always publishes a lot about their whiskey. The other one I'm going to count as a sample is from Kilchoman. It's a single cask from Kensington Wine Market. It's 10 years old at cask strength. My wife slipped that into my stocking, so I'm going to count that as a sample. So when we come back, two peated blends, the Lost Blend by Compass Box and Kilchoman single cask.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me. As I quickly said in the intro, these are not budget blends by any means, right? These instead are, well, one's a single malt, single cask, and the other is a blend that I think you probably have a hard time finding. Compass Box released, oh boy, I said I knew a lot, but really I've read a lot, but whether I remember it, could have been around 2001. They released a blend that was 80% Highland, 20% Islay, single malts blended. What was it called? I want to say urethra, but that's not it. It's Elethra. I'll put it down below. And then of course, since there was a significant Bora distillery malts in there, which you just can't get anymore, and they finished that. They don't sell it anymore, and then they wanted to bring it back, and so they found some malts from. Oh boy, what were the two Highlands? I'll put them down below. One had a name that I couldn't recall having anything from, and now I've just blanked entirely. And then the other was some Kalila, and I'll put the stats down here. It's released, of course, natural color, unchill filtered, and it was designed to bring back that very popular blend that had those Brora malts in it. Anyways, as I said, Renee from Sourleg, a gentleman, sent this across the ocean to me. Let's see what the Scotch tells us. Oh, this is really sweeter on the nose than I expected. I'm talking just a number of sweeter, light fruits. Yeah, light apple, a bit of pear. Well, of course, now some smoke has come up and started to cook those fruits down. Still a gentle sweetness, like a cloying sweetness, not just a raw sugar or, oh yeah, this is sweet. A little bit floral. I think I've said this before, rich nose. How do you describe a rich nose? It's just that, as you work through the different peaks of fruit, and you start to get this swirl of smoke, and then it just holds together. When I think of a rich nose, there isn't a spike of ethanol or a spike of alcohol. It really just is pleasant to be thinking about. I'm going in. Hope you've got something to sip along. Sláinte. Well, that had a little more punch than I was expecting. The nose was really, really gentle for me, but now that came up a little bit peaty, a little bit, a little bit woody and ashy, and not like that's not the whole dram, but I was surprised. I was expecting a little more fruit and maybe gentle toffee in there, because the malts, the single malts from the Highland distilleries, which are blanking right now, are just under 20 years old. So this is not a young Scotch by any means. Oh boy, that nose is still beautiful. There are light toffees or even an edge of butter. Very nice in the mouth. Second sip, so much better than that first. I should disclose, first whiskey of the day, and that is always a bit of a palate wake up, right? no alcohol whatsoever, and then you have that much richer second sip. Like now it is almost creamy. Slight butter, still fruity, lively fruits, fresh apple, a little bit of pear. I know that's only 2 fruits I'm getting right now, but it's staying there. It's not bringing in a lot of other things in that dimension. But now, instead of sort of the first sip, to me, I was getting kind of a wood ash, cooked ash, and I was like, oh boy, I guess the peat's going to be pretty aggressive. Not at all on the second sip. On the second sip, it's just really coming together, and so cooking and stewing the fruits and slight leather. And the finish is quite good. Like the kind that at first it's a little dry and you think, oh, okay, we're just going to go back into oak. And then you almost start salivating again and your mouth's like, yeah, you need a third sip or you need a little more. Like it's really good. So, this is it. I poured out the whole sample right before I turned on the camera. This would be a bottle I would really love to spend some time in. It's fantastic. I think it's very balanced, Highland nature, a little floral, fruit. And then the way they've wrapped up. Kahlua sometimes for me can be all smoke and no delivery. And in this case, the casks they've picked, I think, are spot on. Of course they are. I like Compass Box. Now, this is a single cask picked by the fine folk at Kensington Wine Market in Calgary, Alberta. Specifically, in case you have it, it's cask 255, the 2007 edition. It's an ex-bourbon cask released at 56.6%. I have looked online and I saw that it was a 10-year-old cask. So this is obviously stronger. There's no water on it. We'll see what we get on it. Interesting. In contrast, I've got a little pepper, a little cinnamon. Interesting. Maybe it's just a little more oaky. Cooked citrus, dark orange. Still a little bit of something that's playing around oakiness for me. Smoke, fair amount. Earthy. Quickly in contrast. This shifts more into a floral fruit. There's still some smoke, but this is far more earthy, coastal, cooked, oaky. Did I say that? Yeah, a little briny there. Like little salt, but yeah, far more earth tones for me on this. On the palate, Slancha. Cigar smoke. Old leather. A little bit of ooh. Okay, this is full on peat compared to that. Like now we're back on Isla, and it is clear and strong. In the finish, I'm getting that oak, but it is absolutely off the fire. The coals have been cooking there for a while. Oh, so good. Slight cooked, I'm gonna say like a sultana raisin, which I usually go after if there's any kind of sherry around, but that's not it. But it's some kind of leathered, just edge of fruit. So I'm gonna say that, fig raisin somewhere there, but not that fruity, but something like that. All kinds of a little sweet tobacco, sweet vanilla, cigar, like a beautiful, wow. These are great malts. Now, in fairness, almost the last month I've been drinking budget Scotch and going, hey, these are okay. I like that. These are phenomenal. I'm so glad to Renee for this sample and my wife for putting a little thank you in my stocking. Thank you. That's not the right word, but a little nice gift. This is exactly what I want from samples. It just creates in me a desire to try to find these bottles and afford them. I bet the Lost Blend is all gone. But Kilchoman single cask, I've seen them around, and I've seen even up here, in Edmonton, and this is just exceptional. Obviously I don't rate samples, but yeah, just moved it more into actually a little bit more smoke. Actually burned a little bit more in my nostril. It's funny how when it's straight out of the cask, sometimes I don't know if it's the oils or whatever, kind of trap it, and the water really, I think, releases it and does give you more smoke, but now it's a little aggressive. But the palate's fantastic. Hey, thanks for joining me here this Sunday. Clearly a couple of samples that are singing the tune that my palate enjoys. As always, only my views. And I could see some people thinking this is way too smoky and earthy. I suggest this would have a broader appeal, at 46%, and really an interplay between Highland and Islay Scotch. I think this was probably of the two would have a broader appeal for more Scotch drinkers. You guys have a fantastic week. Hopefully, we'll see you again next time. Cheers.